Hi, everyone. Welcome to Spill the Tea Radio, where we interview awesome singer-songwriters and those who influence their lives. Spill the Tea Radio explores the journey, creativity, and inspiration behind the songs. My next guest is a rare talent who is able to sound fresh and personal, yet still keep a sense of jazz tradition. She straddles the world of balancing art and songbook with street pulse savvy. She performs throughout the GTA, including a 10-year stint as lead vocalist with the Mississauga Big Band Jazz Ensemble. So let's spill the tea with Denise Leslie. Welcome, Denise.
Well, thanks very much. It was a lovely intro.
Denise, how did you get started in this business? You've been in it for a while, and you've got some great accomplishments. But how did you get started?
Well, it was a long time ago. I've always absolutely loved music. My father was a bit of an influence, definitely. He was a jazz aficionado, loved his jazz music. And out of 5 kids, I seem to be the only one that really kind of caught on to that, you know. Well, I shouldn't say that entirely, but I really got to it. My sister and brothers liked music, but I think I just really honed in on it. And that's what kind of got things started, but I took a huge U-turn. I didn't think that majoring in music, going off to school majoring in music would really allow me much, but little did I know there's so much more out there right now for musicians, I think. I just thought, well, I don't know if I want to be a music teacher. What do you know when you're 18, 19 years old, though? You know, so dumb. So anyways, I took a big U-turn, went on to focus on interior design, actually. And I came back to it after being married and having a couple of kids. And that was probably back in Calgary. I joined a wonderful choir out there. It's now called I think they're called Rev 52. I don't know what the 52, I think that's when it originally started, that choir. But I joined that choir back when we were living there, early 2000s. And they had me do some scatting. They were doing a Ray Charles tribute. It was just perfect timing, you know? So that's kind of when it started, really. I just loved it. And I got to hone my scatting skills and to a built-in audience at rehearsal every week. And it just kind of grew from there.
You are in the jazz genre. You've chosen jazz as your main focus. Why jazz?
Yeah. That's a good question. I love syncopation, and I love how it makes me feel while I'm singing it. And it's dawned on me more and more and more that I just really like monkeying around with a song and not singing at the same time every time, and not being committed to the notes written on a page. So you may know that jazz musicians typically work with lead sheets. Mm-hmm. And lead sheets, rather than streams of sheet music with actual notation, they typically work with lead sheets. It's just a series of chord progressions. And jazz musicians are taught to, as I say, monkey around, which is a loose way of putting it, with those chord progressions and building a song that way. And there's the super duper simple version, AABA, the way a song is written in its form. Anyways, I just really like the way, back to your question, sorry, I drifted off. I just really like the way it makes me feel while I'm singing, and syncopation. And I love scatting as well. I try to build that into my set list or into a few songs in my repertoire. And I don't know, I guess the greats that I was introduced to as a younger person have a lot to do with that. Billie Holiday and Carmen McRae and Ella and Frank and other people like Mark Murphy and the instrumentalists like Herbie Hancock. They're all just, it just seems to resonate that much more with me. I'm a rhythm person.
Now, when I've seen you perform with, at Oakville, you had a pianist, you had a bass, you had a sax player, and a guitar player.
Yeah.
When you were at the Port House, it was a sax player and a keyboardist and yourself. What's
Uh-huh.
how what's the difference, or what's it like playing with just a few people and the difference of playing with a big band?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so there's big band, which is a 17-piece band that I play with, Mississauga Big Band. That's far more. Okay, so with a big band, it's notation. You don't just get to call tunes and go, hey, bye bye Blackbird and C, let's go. You can't be that way. It's far more rehearsed, and Rob Boniface writes beautiful charts, and he has to chart the whole song for everybody. So everybody's playing a part. And so, as you can imagine, it's far more what's the word for that? It's far less impulsive or in the moment. You have to know your bit, or
Right.
you can screw the whole song up.
A little
Now
bit
I
more
can ad lib a little bit as a
more
vocalist.
structured.
More structured. Sorry, that's the word. Yeah, exactly. It's far more structured. Whereas with a smaller group, you can play around and improvise a lot more and be more in the moment. Yeah, change your endings. Let's do a tag ending. Let's tag the last 4 bars 3 times for this ending. Oh no, let's not. Let's just follow the vocalist and see what she ends up deciding to do, which is how I roll a lot of the time.
Which she gets her hand up in the air and she's shaking it. We
Kind of.
know that we're coming to the end of the song.
Yeah. And I'm bad. Like I'll just sometimes, oh yeah, I got to put my hand up and signal. And sometimes I'm not very good. I'm not very, distinct about, like, not.
Well, let's get into one of the songs that Denise wrote. This song was written during the pandemic and was produced, arranged, and co-written by Bob McAlpine. So
Yay, Bob!
let's take a listen to singer-songwriter Denise Leslie and her song, Be Grand.
I'd love to be grand, recognized through the land. I'd love to be great. I know I couldn't wait to rub shoulders with the top, the A-list sort, cream of the crop, to see heads turn and jaws drop, improve my station. I'd love to be grand, to rise up, take a stand. Well, I'd strive to advise like a Solomon the wise. The G7 and UN would hang on every word and more. I'd ensure peace would be restored to warring nations. At the racetrack you'd have found I'd have won the Triple Crown, flying first class with the swells, booking 5-star ice hotels, Ipanema and your sand, young and lovely, tall and tan. It all would help my brand. I'd swing and I'd croon, melting hearts through the room. I'd swish and I'd swank, wowing Sammy, Dean and Frank, whose rap pack would include this jazz sensation in their crew, swinging the hippest sets on cue. I'd play the sounds. Oh, wouldn't I be grand? sort who would be among select few. Oh, a celebrity. Well, I'd marry me a prince, then I'd connive and I'd convince, no matter what those royals think, King Charles be damned. Oh, wouldn't I be grand?
That was To Be Grand by Denise Leslie. Denise, tell us a little bit about the song and what inspired you to write it.
So, To Be Grand, I actually started writing that song. Well, it popped up. I was out walking during the pandemic. Remember when we were all doing that?
Oh, yes.
This was all we could do. And I remember just one day, the sort of pace I was keeping maybe got a sort of rhythmic thing in my head to start with. And then I started creating a melody. And it might have been melody first. And then just I thought, well, it would just so fit with this neat little melody I've got in my head. And just, God damn, I'd love to be grand. I'd love to just, I'm feeling so sorry for myself right now and feeling very powerless. And it was a crappy time. Everybody was kind of feeling, I think, that way. And to a certain extent. And I just thought, well, how's the other side living? What kinds of things are they doing right now? Like a lot of high power politicians. I kept thinking about them and what we've been hearing about them and little things that they were up to during that time. Stuff like that. And it got right down to If I Were a Rich Man came into it, because I love that musical, Fiddler on the Roof, Tevye. And so there's a little inspiration there with some of my lyrics in there. So that's basically how it all kind of started. And my imagination just started running wild with all kinds of different scenarios to insert myself into as to what other things could I be doing? Oh, I could be the girl from Ipanema. Oh, I could be a member of the Rat Pack. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Just all kinds of grand.
How do people find out more about you and your music? What's the website? What are the socials and the streaming platforms they can find you at?
Sure, yeah. So the song is featured, I've got it on Here Now, which is great. CD Baby provides us with that, with Here Now. And I've got that linked up to my at Denise Leslie Sings Instagram page. And my moniker for that is at Denise Leslie Sings. I've got that in my header at the top. And you can go to Facebook, just Denise Leslie Sings.
We have been in conversation with Denise Leslie. Denise, thanks for being with us.
Oh, you're very welcome. My pleasure.